Sundress and a golden smile. She's a sweetheart in a little while, and she speaks soft like a lullaby. And she just turned 23.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, brother. How you doing? It's so funny because every time, not every time, but these days, every time we do a show, you're somewhere different. And
Mobile office.
I can't wait for the TFE Retreat podcast. That'll be a good one.
I don't know how I'm going to do that.
I don't know. The iRig is pretty small. You can put that in your suitcase.
Not going to happen.
Or on a phone. We'll just do a FaceTime. We'll be like coming to you live. We'll just do a little one. Maybe we should have a guest host while you're gone. And then we'll go live to the city. Go live to the islands. Live to the islands. We can have Brutus. We can have Brutus on.
The point is to bring as least stuff as possible. You know?
That's true. That is true. Are you just doing a carry-on probably?
No. I'm going to have a luggage for sure.
Luggage for sure. Okay.
Luggage for sure, my man.
So how are you doing?
I'm good. I have a really, really, really good subject that I want to talk about today.
So I'm really happy that you have a really, really, really good subject today. But unfortunately, Pat, my ADHD today has seen something recently on Instagram, and I would like to be in charge of the topic today, if that's okay, for once. Are you okay with that? Just
I
for
don't
once.
have a problem with it.
Yeah, just for once.
Why would I have a problem with that?
I'm going to kick it off with this little cookie right here.
When you've been alone for a while, your craving for sex actually changes. That sounds wild, right? And it's not that you don't want it anymore. You do. Trust me, I do too. I still want it like crazy. But here's the difference. I'm not giving that part of me away so easily anymore. Because after a while, you realize it was never just about sex. What you really crave is intimacy. It's connection. Someone to share silence with. Someone whose touch feels like home. And when you stop chasing empty connections, you start to see how meaningless sex feels without that deeper bond. And the truth is, your craving doesn't disappear. It just shifts. You still want it, but now you want it with someone who actually sees you, someone who values you, and someone who matches your energy. So if you felt that shift, don't think it's weird. It's growth. You're not craving less. You're craving better. And honestly, that's the most powerful realization that you can have.
Pat, I'm sorry, but I'm taking over today, baby.
Oh.
And today, baby, we're talking about sex.
Oh.
And if you're not on YouTube right now seeing Pat do his sexy moves, hit stop and go to YouTube. Drinking that juice and shaking his body. That's right, people. It's Love 103. I hope nobody's home in the background at your place because they think you're weird. Right? So
No.
I want to talk today. I know we're gonna do an in-depth. We're gonna do an in-depth one when we come in studio. Did I just say that? Oh
Yeah, you
my
did.
God! When
Now-
you come in, everything I say today, my brain's gonna be right in the gutter.
Puns.com.
It's going to be like on your lives when people like say something and they all your followers, they're like, they live in the gutter where they're waiting.
do.
They're
Yeah.
just waiting to like bring up nasty stuff.
They're like the Ninja Turtles, but instead of being in the sewers, they're in the gutter.
They're in the gutter. Exactly.
right.
But we're going to do an in-depth one in studio. But I think it's about time. We've had so many requests from people that listen to the show to talk about sex. And we're not going to have it like a real sex talk. I just want to basically reiterate or kind of piggyback off of your post. It was a great post.
Thank you.
You do a lot of social media stuff. And I'm going to tell you that post was awesome because sex is so taboo when it comes to anything. No one wants to talk about it. Like I know friends, and there's people that were around that, as soon as you mention sex or you mention anything, it's like you can see the squirm. You can see like, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's next subject.
Exactly. So, what prompted you to do that video? You're all about relationships and everything else, and sex is very much a part of a relationship, but what prompted you to do that video? And give us a little bit of back content on that?
Exactly what you just said. Exactly what you just said. I feel like when I do talk about these things on my lives or with people in person, and I tell them, like, for example, how long it's been that I haven't had sex, the initial reaction is always like, "What? What? How come? Like, are you okay?" You know what I mean? Like, it's always like a defensive reaction, like as if someone who's not having sex is not normal. And so that's pretty much what prompted me to talk about this. And the video, to my surprise, went viral. Which is great, I think. Which is great because I think coming from a man, especially, talking about these things, I think is what really hit people.
And nothing about the men getting, like, remember how we've talked about, like, guys that's sitting around, talking about, like, their engines and stuff like that. Like, it seems like men love to, it's when a woman says, I haven't had sex for 2 years, I think it's like, that's
good for you.
Seems about right. Like,
Good
good for you for
You're
waiting.
controlling yourself.
A guy says they haven't had sex for like 6 months. They're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And that doesn't include masturbating. Have you seen Deadpool? Wolverine?
I
Deadpool.
have, yes.
When they masturbating with the two Hulk and he just smash that thing. So good for you. I mean, talk about vulnerability. It's one thing to say, hey, I this and that, but vulnerability about talking about sex, I think it's something that men do not talk about, obviously.
That is correct.
I think maybe within the context of men, two guys talking, it's like, dude, it's been a while. I need to get laid.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we've kind of skirted around this conversation in the past when we talk about relationships, like how are you getting into a relationship? You just can't have sex right away. I mean, you and I are very similar that way. There has to be some connection there. On your post, you're talking about intimacy, so like, give me an example, Pat, on, how long normally in a relationship, like, I think these days it's probably different for you, but like, how long does it normally take? How long, in your situation? I'll ask you, and then we can have people comment. Like, normally, is it a week? Is it, instant? Like, give me some examples on about you.
I'm not sure I understand the question. How long does it take to what?
To have sex with somebody, dude. Like, after you, like, had met them, went out for dinner, we went dancing.
Okay. So
are you
after
having
the
sex
first
that
date?
night?
No, of course not.
Well, what if she's ready? She's ready to go. You've had some booze.
Well, I mean, I think it would depend on the situation. It depends on the situation, the feeling that I have with this person. Is it really just to, is it for a relationship? Is it really just for, pleasure? If it's for a serious relationship, it's not really going to happen on the first night. Mm-hmm. No, that's for sure.
Let me ask you a question, Pat. Let's be honest with each other here.
Let's be honest.
We're talking about sex. Are you more of a giver or a receiver?
I'm a giver.
See? Me too, dude. I think there's something so much more in being a giver than a receiver.
Yeah.
And is that a motorcycle that I hear in the background?
Absolutely.
I love this.
This is what happens with a mobile office.
This is a mobile app.
It doesn't get more authentic than this.
No, because I think being a giver, when it comes to sex, I think it builds an intimacy. That's what I think. Like, in the intimacy and stuff, like giving the woman that respect on when it's not just a quickie,
Right.
And I know for me also, it's like if they are not in the mood, I kind of quickly get out of the mood myself because I don't want to be that person to be like, okay, I just want to get off. You know what I mean?
The term today is nut, I think.
Nut?
Yeah, you just don't you don't want to just nut. I think that's the term that they use today.
Interesting. I don't want to nut. But the giver part of the sexual relations, dude, is probably the highest for me. Like, the giver part, because let's be honest, most men, the women love that, the intimacy and how long it takes, I guess, maybe, and men are just like, we're done. And some men at least, but I love the giver. That's the 7%er in you,
Well, I mean, I think it's not just a 7%er. I think there's some people that really just do care more about the woman's feelings than themselves. Yeah. It's just not being selfish. If you're not selfish, that's what you're going to do. if you're selfish and it's all about you and sex is all about you, then yeah, of course you're going to try to do the deed as fast as you possibly can and get over with it.
Yeah.
Because it's about you, right?
Yeah. What do you think builds or kills sexual chemistry in a relationship?
Routine.
Ooh, say more. Tell me.
Yeah, routine. I think most couples, and I myself included, that's kind of what happened. You know, when you get in that routine, that daily routine, that weekly routine, where it's just the same thing over and over, and even the sex gets really kind of a routine.
Or planned sex.
Or planned sex.
Oh,
No,
God, dude,
no,
fucking
can't do
planned sex sucks so bad.
that. Can't do it.
It's like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed early. Do you want to have sex quick? Oh, God. That might as well just be like, kick me in the nuts, please.
Yeah, no, or like, hey, by the way, Thursday's my only night available. Can we have sex
Oh,
on Thursday?
my God. Have you had that in a relationship?
Of course. Dude.
Really? I don't think I've ever had
Yeah,
that. Like
can't do
planned.
it, man.
That planned is, you know, like I think to the extent of planning is, hey, we're gonna go to bed. I'm gonna take a quick shower first before we go to bed. You know, like and when there's an implication there, it's like, hey, you know, I think okay, are we having sex? I better take a quick shower. You know, or even in that respect, you know, some of the nastiness comes for this the impromptu sex is, I think, the best. What was that scene? There was a scene in have you seen what was that movie with Will Ferrell? The Campaign. Have you seen the movie The Campaign
Yeah.
with Will Ferrell? He's like, let's just have sex in a men's outhouse tonight and stick our fingers in our butts. It's just like let's get nasty. The nastiness.
There's a lot of
it.
movie references today.
Dude, there's so many movie references. So, yeah, routine. Okay.
Routine, yeah.
Totally
I
agree
think,
with you, man.
I think that really kills it. You know, when it's just like I said, it's always the same thing over and over, the same position, the same place, right? It's always in the bedroom. It doesn't always have to be in the bedroom.
No.
Right?
No, not at all.
You know, it could be on
Where's
the roof of
where's
your
the
house, for
craziest
crying
place
out
you've
loud.
had sex? Like
The
like not the
craziest?
craziest, but like wow, this is this is unusual.
I want to say in a car on a mountain with some people around.
Oh, nice.
Maybe.
Nice. I like that. That's with some people around, hikers, in a parking lot at Walmart.
Yeah, no. See, here in Montreal, we have this thing called Le Mont Royal,
Le
and
Mont
it's
Royal.
known for that stuff. So
Oh, it's like the makeout spot. People go up there and
I
they
guess so.
bang on a mountain.
yeah,
What about like regular sex? Like if you had earlier you just said routine, but if it was like regular sex, how I don't even know the stat on this. Like after like so many years in relationship, like let's look at even your relationships and then we can compare with mine. Like, but is how often do you think on a normal people are having sex normally?
like generally speaking, not
Generally
we're not talking
speaking, like in a relationship. Hey, I've been in a relationship for over a year now.
You know, I've heard 1 to 2, 1 to 2 times a week.
Oh, okay. Wow. So daily is not normal?
Sure, it can be.
Okay.
I just think it's not the norm.
The norm.
I'm not saying it's not normal. I'm saying it's not the norm. I think the norm, what
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, okay, you know, they can agree that it's similar 1 to twice a week. I think.
Interesting. 1 to twice a week. Ever hear of a relationship that, we haven't had sex in 2 years in a relationship? Like, not you. You're not in a relationship, dude.
But I went through that.
Did you?
I went through that. Yeah, I had a relationship. We were doing it once a year.
How do you
talked
talk?
about this.
How do you talk about sexual needs with your partner? Like, is there, like, how do you bring yourself to that conversation if there's a need that you have? Like, obviously, if there's not much communication in a relationship that we've talked about so many times, you know, it all starts with communication. But how do you bring yourself to your partner when it's such a sensitive situation? Sometimes, like sexual needs, and it's not just like I need to get laid. What if there's things that want to happen in the bedroom, or I really would like to do this and that? Like, how do you talk to your partner about something
Well,
like that?
you just said it. The communication has to be extremely good, but for the communication to be extremely good, you have to have that whole intimacy and vulnerability in the relationship. And the whole trust, you know, I can't be in a relationship now where if I ask you a question, I'm worried what the answer is going to be, or I'm worried what you're going to think about me because I'm asking you the question.
100%.
You know, so if I'm in a relationship where I'm scared to ask you if it's okay if I tickle your toes, and I'm saying that like whatever, and I'm scared you're going to judge me,
Yeah.
you're not for me. You know, I want to be able to sit you down at the table and say, hey, listen, is it okay if, you know, if we have a relationship, a sexual relationship, if we try this? I'm curious to try this. And the person goes, let me think about it. Yes or no, and not go, the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. Have you, like, we've talked about boundaries and stuff. Have you ever been in a relationship before where there were sexual boundaries, maybe? Or is it good? Do you think it's good to have sexual boundaries in a relationship?
Yeah, of course. I think it's important to have rules and boundaries.
Safe word.
Yeah, safe words. You should have a boundary in everything. You know, in
Honey,
a
we're not bringing the goat in the room again tonight.
correct. Yeah,
The goat shit on the floor last time. This is not acceptable because I have to clean it up.
Yeah, that's boundaries. I think it's very important. But there's ways to communicate it without making your partner feel like they're a freak. You know what I mean?
What happens when you're in a dry spell, maybe? Like if people that have been together for a long time, they're just sitting if there's a dry spell, how do you re-spark that?
Well, it comes back to what I said before, the routine, right? The routine happens, people get into a dry spell, and you have that conversation. You try something different. You bring that spark. You try something you never have. You organize something. You take a weekend out. You go on vacation. You know, there's so many things that you could do to bring that spark back. You know, you could buy a game. There's games out there that you can buy and that you could play together as a couple to find that intimacy. There's questions you can ask. There's so many things that when you use your imagination and you care for your partner's well-being, dude, you're going to do whatever it takes, you know, to bring that spark back.
And it's funny you mentioned communication. I think it's really amazing that if you can get to that place of honesty when it comes to sex and when it comes to really anything, but when it comes to sex, if you're having sex, like feedback, even during sex, no, I don't like that. Don't do that, or do this more, because it's refining your sexual experience. You know,
I agree. Just again, watch the tone. You know, watch the tone when you're saying no, I don't like that. You know, there's a way to use your hands and be like, you know, you can do it in a way that's more, you know, respectful, I guess. Mm-hmm. Again, you're not trying to belittle your partner. You know, if you're gonna say no,
unless they're into that,
of course.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna say that no, don't do that, don't yell it out with a lot of attitude.
Right.
You know, you're in an intimate moment, right? You should be soft and kind.
Yeah. It's so funny though. Like you think, I've heard stories, and obviously we've seen things on the web or movies and stuff like that, where you can you see a couple that are just like, you know, go to soccer practice and everything else. And then it's time for sex time. And it's just fucking, you know, the Batman and Robin, and it's just like go time. But I think it's so cool. I think sex is one of those things that it's like for that hour, whatever that you're doing that deed, everything kind of goes as long as you have communication with your partner on what they like, because it really builds on the relationship. If your partner can tell you, hey, you know, there's so many things I'd like to say, but I don't know what we can say. But, you know, like there's so many different things that you can find out about your partner. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because like I could see the whole world right now listening to the podcast being like 1 hour. Damn, that's a lot of time.
But I'm talking about you got pregame. You got pregame show. Then you have, you know, the halftime show. You know, it's not just the final shot. It's not the you know. Well, some people it's the final shot. And I've also heard in relationships that a lot of times women, especially in men, I've just heard this on the men's side. I have not heard this on the woman's side. So women, you can correct me out there. But I've heard men, because of mental health issues too, that sensation of orgasm really puts them at peace or helps them sleep or that kind of stuff, where it's just like, hey, let's just have sex so I know I'm going to sleep better, you know?
Yeah.
And then also in relationships, I've heard this is like, you know, and I've heard this from women as well, that, you know, if they don't want to have, hey, I'm not in the mood to have sex tonight, so why don't you pleasure yourself? I'll pleasure myself and we'll be in the same bed together.
Sure.
You know, and it's just like, again, what an amazing place to be if you can have that open communication with your partner, that this is just a need I want right now. It's not about you or me. It's just, I need this. I need this to sleep, or I need this to relax, or that kind of stuff. You know, I think that's really incredible. Again, back to, you know, communication, vulnerability, you know.
Yeah.
And what role do you think trust and vulnerability play in a sex life?
Well, you just said it. That scene that you just said, to be in the same bed, to be able to take care of yourself in front of somebody else. Think about it.
Right.
That's supposed to be your bubble. That's supposed to be your most intimate, by yourself. And to be able to share that with someone, that trust level has to be like, it's got to be here, dude.
Yeah.
You can't do that with someone who you can't trust, or who.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Have you ever experienced like something like that your partner liked, but then you didn't like, when it comes to sex in itself, and how did you like deal with that?
I mean, listen, I think people. I said this on my live yesterday. Actually, I'm someone that's very open to trying things, whether it's food, restaurants, vacations, whatever it is. I like trying things. No, I have boundaries. But when it comes to sex, it's the same thing. I'm willing to try some stuff, and that's the thing. Let's have a code word, let's have a code word. If I don't like it, call it out. We stop there. No judgment. No, like, what do you mean you don't like it? Like, no judgment. Just, boundaries. So I don't mind it. I'm all about trying new things. I think it keeps a spark. We talked about the spark earlier. I think it keeps a spark. It gets you out of the routine. You discover your partner even more. And
oh yeah.
Nothing sweeter in life than knowing your partner by heart.
Mm-hmm. Knowing them in and out, if you know what I mean.
Ba-bum, bum.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
What about, I know, there's probably a lot of people, and I'm just going off of things that I've heard in my life, people that maybe have had abuse in their past, and they're in a relationship, and the male wants to have sex more, right? But they're very reserved, and they're very like cautious on what they do. How do you think in that situation, longevity? And I think you hear stories like this a lot, that you hear men kind of just like going to get, or affairs happening because they can't have the communication on what they want or what their needs are in their partnership. But again, I know we're always basing this on communication, but how are some things and conversations you can have with someone, or ease them into it in a situation like that?
Well, number one, you said men do that. I gotta reiterate, both sexes eventually, if the sex is getting boring or the routine, will want to have that craving to go see elsewhere. It's both. We talked about the stat the other day. 52% of women, apparently, according to a study, have someone in their backup that if it doesn't work, they got someone else in their eyesight, right? So it's men and women that do this. It's not one more than the other. It used to be, but not today. Not today. Things have changed. And what I think about that, I've had conversations with people where that's what happens, is like the routine sets in, and just because it's the same all the time, that's what gives them the desire to go see elsewhere, because they're like, well, shit, I want to discover something else. And usually that, those sexual relationships that they're going to go get elsewhere, they're more intense. That dopamine is really high because it's an intense feeling. It's an intense session. And then they go back home to the routine, And so a lot of psychologists, therapists, I've heard about them. I've heard about them saying that it's important to make sweet love, right? But it's also important to try new things and go a little crazier sometimes.
Yeah.
So that those feelings are constantly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I totally understand. Like, there's love making, there's like, I'm intimate right now, and then there's just like fucking.
Yeah.
Sorry. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
No, we're not. It's not TikTok. We're not gonna get banned for this.
Yeah.
but-
Okay. You know what I mean? But I think it's just one of those things. I think the spontaneity sometimes is the best part.
Yeah.
Where it's like you see your partner, taking their clothes off in the bedroom, and next thing you know, you have them on the dresser, and you're just, you're ravaging them because it's right. It's in that moment.
Yeah.
Those moments sometimes are so much better than the planned, like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, let's shut the lights off, like, fuck, turn the lights on, let's start the camera, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And again, to each his own. Like, this is the thing about sex. It's so different for everybody. And I'm just thinking right now, there's people that are like, yeah, I love this conversation right now. And there's probably people that are like, I'm gonna shut this thing off. Right
Oh
now
my
because I
God, so
can't-
many people shut this off already.
I can't talk about it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Whatever. We'll see the numbers on this episode. But
Well, thankfully, a lot of our listeners are women, so I think probably they're gonna like this. And One of the things a buddy of mine talked about in the past was overthinking during sex on how it causes so much stress in like performance and performance anxiety, if you would, and then they lose interest, or their boy kind of goes to sleep, and then his partner was really concerned, like, is it me? Like, what am I doing? And stuff like that. And it's so funny. Every time I ask you a question, I know the answer is based around communication. Like, why don't you just tell them, I had a tough day at work today, and I have all this stuff, and I know I have to be here for you right now, but I can't be here presently, and I can't maintain my status quo right now with you. Like, it just goes based on that, Yeah. But do you think, you have a lot of females. Do you think women, and you talked about this on the last show, where women will talk about their man when they're together, and men never talk about that? Do you think women in general talk about sex with their man a lot? Like this is what he does, and this is what, like...
I don't think they go. Some probably go into detail. I don't think they all go into detail, but they're definitely asking questions. They're definitely see, the thing about women is that's what they do. They ask questions. They don't necessarily just jump into the conversation saying this is what happened. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm asking for a friend. Like I heard so and so. This happened. Like, has that ever happened to you guys? They kind of dip their toes in the water type of thing, and then it sparks a conversation. One thing's for sure with what you just said, men who have, anxiety, performance anxiety, they're not talking about it. They're not calling up their boys and like, hey, yo, boys, you know what?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. So, but and performance anxiety, again, I've heard this too. It happens on both sides, both sexes. Women suffer from it too,
and I think a man that's in tune with their woman, and the man on the man side, when she's into it. There's certain things that happen to a woman.
Both.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. I'm not talking the finale. I'm talking during, obviously.
Correct.
There's a lot of like, wow, she's really loving this. And again, it's all communication, people, like what they like and what they don't like. But how do you handle in a situation where you're in the mood and they're in the mood? I wonder what the percentages are mostly. Men, I heard the stats. Do you remember the stats on how often men think about sex? It's like every 4 seconds or something like that. It was like ridiculous.
Something like that. But men are not too far, women are not too far behind either. So
no.
Here's what I think. Being in the mood is an emotion.
Yes.
You can become in the mood. You're not always in the mood, right? It's just here and there. You get a thought that crosses your mind. There's something you see, gets you in the mood. It's the same thing. You can get into the mood. So obviously, like you just said, if you're in tune with your partner, you know how to get them in the mood, even if they had a rough day at work, even if blah, blah, blah. If you know them well, you know how to get them in the mood.
I think it's really important too that after sex is like not only like rolling over and going to sleep, especially in a relation. Early on, you're always like, what did I see in the movie when they were done sex?
A cigarette.
Yeah, a cigarette. Or how women never run to the bathroom after sex in a movie. It's just like it absorbs into their body. It's like, what? Where did it go? But I think checking in with your partner is so important too after sex.
Yeah.
Like just especially if it was like, holy fuck, did we really rip the pillow on this one? This is amazing. But like in a situation, just check in. I think it's good to check in. Like maybe not seconds after, but it's like, hey, how was that? Did you like that? Do you know where that carrot is? Because I brought it up for a snack and now it's gone. Like, can I have it back? That kind of stuff. I think it's really important to check in. You didn't even get that joke. You didn't even smile at that.
The carrot?
Yeah. Where's the carrot? Is it in you or is it in me?
Oh my God. That's okay. I didn't pick up on that.
You didn't pick up on that.
I didn't pick up on that.
Do you think? I wish we had a woman on with us today.
I wish I had a woman. End of story.
You wish you had a woman on you.
I just wish I had a woman.
Yeah, but do you think? Do you think it's easier for men to separate sex and love, or like, do you think which sex do you think is better as an actor in pretending? How they can separate sex and love? Women, they're better at pretending.
Yeah.
Say
They're
more.
very good. They're very good at pretending. As a matter of fact, again, I'm going by studies here. Studies show. Studies show.
Pat's a man of science when it comes to sex people.
I'm a man of science. Studies show that a lot of women actually fake during the act. So, I think they're able.
But
to...
if you're in tune to them, you would know this. We just talked about this. If it's the Sahara Desert when you're having sex and you seem like they're into it. Like, I guess I don't know.
Sometimes
the
physical and the mental are not working together. The physical's working, but the mental's not there, and so
they're just checked out.
They're checked out. They're thinking about the freaking laundry that they have to do the day that they have at work, but like physically it's working because obviously it feels good, but mentally they're checked out. So I think it depends. But again, you can't put everybody in the same basket. I'm not saying only women can separate the two. Men can do it pretty well as well,
It's kind of harder for a man, though. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended.
Yeah,
harder.
pun intended. It is exactly.
Like if you go somewhere during sex, like if you're having sex and it's good, and all of a sudden your mind goes somewhere, and you're thinking about something, or the phone rings, or there's a knock at the door, you're done. Like it's gonna go from you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
The pasta's cooked.
Yeah,
The spaghetti noodle is cooked.
al dente.
It is al dente for that moment. Who the fuck's at the door? Wow, dude. I feel like I'm asking all the questions today. You're very quiet, Pat. Like, what is your deal today? Why aren't you asking? Why aren't you talking more?
Well, no, because I thought, I'll be honest, I thought the conversation we were going to have was following the video that I posted. I don't mind this conversation, but the video that I posted was the fact that we don't crave sex anymore. So that's why I'm answering your question.
Okay, I want to, but that's what I'm trying to get into here. Is like I want to make reference to that video. Is like the video for you. Like everything we're talking about up to this moment has really been about experiences.
We're putting you in the mood.
Yeah. How are we doing out there, people? But that's kind of like it's talking about past experiences. Yeah. So in reference to your video, you said you don't crave sex anymore. Is that true? Is that a true statement? You don't crave it anymore?
It's a true statement. Yeah.
So right now you're not craving sex. Someone walked into that door in the background there, ready to go.
Yep.
Cue bubbles.
Cue
No,
bubbles.
I'm just kidding.
Would I crave it? No, I'd have to figure out who this woman is. What does she want?
Did you say finger out?
Figure
You
out.
just said finger out. No,
I
no,
said
you
figure
bullshit.
out.
You just said finger out.
Replay.
No, you just said I need to figure out.
Figure out.
Okay, go.
Figure out. I need to
See where
figure
my
out.
you can see where my mind's at.
We'll see it on the replay. I need to
That's
figure
not
out
getting
who this-
edited.
Who this woman is, like, does she want a relationship? What does she want? Like, I got to figure it out. I got to, like I said, I'm not at the same place I used to. And when you come out of a relationship and, you become single, obviously your mind goes straight to that. There's a lot of people that go, oh my God, I'm single now. I'm just going to go out there and, get freaky deaky with everybody that I see.
Mm-hmm.
It's some sort of revenge or way of coping with the emotions that they don't want to deal with, But there's a mix of loneliness and physical cravings that hit first. I think it's normal for everybody. And I've realized that sex, and I might get canceled for this, but I've realized that sex is often tied to validation. It's tied to intimacy, but also feeling wanted, right? But that validation part is what I'm saying here. That's what I don't have anymore. It's not that I don't crave it. I still crave it, right? It's just that I don't need it to feel good about myself or anything like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the validation part does definitely make sense, but I don't. Are you saying more in the emotional side or more in the physical side?
Both.
Okay.
Like because we said, like, the cravings can be there. Like, obviously we're all human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at some point you're like, oh my God, this would be so good right now. But there's no more of that. Like, oh my God, I need it. Let me go out there, find it, and then you feel the disappointment of doing it after.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. I get where
Right.
you're coming. I can understand what you're laying down on that one for sure.
Yes. So like it just feels like sometimes you'll just force things, right? You'll force things just because you have a physical craving, but the emotional, mental validation or feeling is just it's not there.
So would you say you're in this period right now where you don't even care about sex?
No, I care for it. I care for it a
Okay.
lot. I think it's super important. I think, my next relationship, I think the sex is going to be 10 times better just because of everything that I figured out about myself in the past 2 years. Now I know how to treat it. I know how to, hi, Houston. I know how to treat it. I know what my boundaries are. I'm so deeply connected to my head and to my body, as weird as that may sound.
Yeah.
But just the work that I've done is just, I don't know. I know it's going to be so much better. And I know that routine that we're saying, I'm not going to allow myself to get into it. I'm going to maintain a healthy relationship. And when I say relationship, that includes sexual relationship as well.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about this at the beginning of the show when we were saying how when men and women say they don't have sex often, or there's been a dry spell in the relationship or in the sexual drive in itself. I think at times there's almost that need to have that feeling. Like it's like, oh my God, it's been a month. I should be having sexual needs right now, because it's been like, that's the way society is almost like, hey, it's been more than a month. You should probably have sex or something like that. But yet what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're saying on that video, really, it's like, it's the act of sex. Like we've all had sex, like the act of sex, it is what it is. But right now you're more looking for that next really intimate situation where sex is just extra. Like you want the intimacy, and what I'm getting from that video is basically sex is extra, is the bonus. Sex is the bonus, the beautiful bonus that comes with that intimacy.
Like the cherry on top. Yeah, I just feel like with time, and this is with time, right? It's with time. I feel that the need for the validation fades, and so does the urgency for sex.
Yeah.
Exactly what you just said. Oh my God, it's been a month. That's an urgency for sex. And with time of being alone, that urgency that you just said, it fades out. You don't have that anymore. You're just like, you know what? I'm comfortable by myself. Like if it comes, it comes. No pun intended. But if
So many puns today.
If it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'm not going to be mad about it because I'm going to be way more mad if I go out there into the jungle, get the sex just because of the craving, and I did it with someone that's not even my style, or someone that I see myself in the future with, or there's no connection, and it's really just to do the deed. Like that, I think with time, that's what happens. I think that your nervous system at some point starts to calm down, and that intense craving, it reduces. I've talked about this, about how comparable it is to alcoholics and drug addicts. It's almost the same thing. That feeling of, oh my God, I need a beer right now. And then you have a beer and you feel like shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sexual addiction is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It is absolutely a real thing. That it destroys families, it destroys relationships, it destroys people. Like sexual need becomes a drug. That
Correct.
You mentioned earlier, the dopamine. That dopamine is your heroin, basically. You need that. But I think with you and me, for that matter, where I think we've leveled up in the relationship world, where what fulfills you and me more is not the physical need, it's very much the emotional need that we need in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like there's people that they want to live their life, and having someone in their life to fulfill the physical side of it, whether it be sex or whatever the case may be, that they feel that need. I don't have to go look for it. I can just go home and get it from my, and I'm speaking on the male version because you speak to more women than I do. Yeah. So on the male side of it, I hear it a lot like that, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to go home. I need to get laid. I need to go home. And I think when it comes to you and me, I think it's more of the emotional side,
And when you say you and me, I think it's really anyone who's done work on themselves. Anyone who's done work on themselves, I think that at some point you stop chasing highs and you start valuing stability. No matter what it is, whether, it's emotional communication, whether it's the routine, we start looking way more for stability. And I want to make one thing clear. I don't want to confuse anyone on this conversation. I don't want to confuse people and think that you become asexual. That's not what I'm saying. you just stop needing sex to feel okay. Is really the difference.
Yeah.
There's some people that just don't need sex. They don't enjoy it. They're good without it. That's being asexual. Okay. And that's perfectly fine too. If that's you, great. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But it's also a question of just not needing it to feel okay. Like I don't need it anymore to feel okay. I'm great. I'm great right now. Like it's not something that I need anymore to feel okay. Remember how we talked about you and how you just, when you had those phases, you just go you'd go out and buy like a new car, right? You don't need that anymore.
Manic episodes. Yes.
Manic episodes. You don't need that anymore, do you? That's gone. That's in the past for you. It's the same thing. Like for me now, I don't need that to be okay. I'm fine with it, and I'm fine without it. If I get it, hey, hell yes. Hell yes, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, but I just don't need it anymore to feel like I'm worthy.
Would you date someone that told you, I rarely crave sex?
No.
Wow, that was fast. I wasn't even finished asking the question.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. I have had this in my past relationships. I'm not going to say which one. There's one of those relationships that ended because of that. Because out of nowhere became asexual.
Okay? Unless it was medical. Like
unless it was
like,
medical.
hey, I can't have sex anymore.
Correct.
So I bought you a doll.
No, I definitely need a woman that craves it once in a while. I mean, look, there's this thing called libido, or like Austin Powers would say, mojo, right? That's a thing, man. It exists. It exists, and at a certain age, that libido or mojo is top tier. You know what I mean? Like it's right up there. That's where you're supposed to be having all the fun, all that stuff. Because eventually, let's be honest, when you get to 50, 60, 70 years old, it starts going down. So you have to take advantage of it.
What age did you say?
50, 60, 70.
Let's stay with 70, 80, 90.
Again, I'm not putting everyone in the same basket. There are some people, dude, that at 50, they just don't want to know more.
Really? I don't want to hang out with those people.
That's the thing. And that's what I'm saying. This episode is extremely unique. Right? Because, we listen and we don't judge. That This is the kind of episode, this is that kind of episode, right? And here's the thing about, emotional connection, safety, vulnerability, peace. At some point, you realize that you want to be more seen than you want to be touched, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely does. And when you were talking about like the connections right now, sex can be obviously sex. When you say sex, there's, sex equals this, penetration, finish. This is what sex is. But I think if you're in if you're in a relationship, cuddling can be sex, like cuddling and holding each other, doing something together, laughing together. That could be in that same dopamine that you would get during sex can be in that moment, could be
1,000%.
There's times where you can just lay naked with your partner and not really doing anything, like watching TV or doing something, but you're there naked together. There's that intimate moment that you're just naked with that person, skin to skin. I think skin to skin makes it's so important, like that skin to skin time is so important, but I think people I think it's so sad that people sometimes go through their entire relationship and not explore their bodies, not explore their needs, not explore the different things that can make you intimate in a relationship. And the effect of that is probably more sex. It's probably going to lead to more sex because that intimacy will bring that better sex at the end of the day,
I agree. And here's the thing, like how are we supposed to know that? Because I remember going to school and having a course about sex ed, right?
Yeah,
and it was probably the worst thing I've ever seen. You could feel like you could hear a pin drop in that class. It was so uncomfortable. The teacher was so weird. Shout out to that teacher.
Fallopian tubes. Remember learning the fallopian tubes? The ovary and fallopian tubes of a woman. It's like, what are we learning? Yeah, I understand anatomy, but can we, you're still learning from your friends.
It was just so weird, right? And then you get home. Who are you going to talk about that to? You're not going to talk about sex with your parents.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, so when Dad banged you last night, is it true? Said no kid.
Said no kids. So how in the world are we supposed to learn it and understand how it works and have the tools, the necessary tools? So here's the thing. Kids just go about it the way they think it's going to be. So if it's having sex with a very important person, that's one way. And for somebody else, it's having sex with as many people as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Where did they learn that? Like, you know what I mean? And then, of course, there's everything about porn these days, of course, that teaches us exactly what sex is not, right?
Right.
So there's just so many factors and so much influence out there to determine how, as a child, we're going to treat sex. And I'm just at that point where I'm not asking myself, who can I sleep with? I'm asking myself, who feels like home?
Yeah.
And that's the
That's something
biggest
they don't
difference.
teach.
That's not, they don't know.
They
And
don't
who-
teach that. But
who's-
how
who's
great
gonna
would
tell
that
you
be, like in sex ed? If sex ed was sex, and then there was a subheading of all the different things that go with sex, everything we've talked about today, like
Yeah.
everything that and sign up now at info@gotitpod.com for your new sex ed course.
Yeah, exactly.
By Professor Pat Gade.
We should literally do that. And this is what I think. Like, there's so many people that are, when they get out of a relationship, and like you just said, oh, it's been a month you didn't have sex, and they you can see it in their face, just their body language. You
Oh,
can
what's
tell.
going on? What's happening?
Yeah,
Like is you guys okay?
guys, normalize and remove shame. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, some people panic and think that something is wrong with them. Nothing is freaking wrong with you. I hate that, dude. We don't talk about this enough. Where, if you're not getting it, it's normal. And if you don't need it, it's normal. Nobody says that to an alcoholic. Oh my God, it's been, especially if somebody tells you they're an alcoholic. You like, just put this scenario,
Yeah. It's
You're
not normal that
talking
they
to-
haven't had a drink.
You're talking to an alcoholic. The person literally tells you, hey, by the way, Mario, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a recovering alcoholic. And you go, when's the last time you had a beer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they go, well, it was 4 years ago. What?
Yeah.
4 years? No one said that ever, right?
I have
So-
actually. Can I just interrupt you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure,
I
no.
did that once.
Oh, you.
No,
Son of a God.
here's the context. So this person told me that he was an alcoholic and he's been clean and sober for like so many years. And I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. What an amazing feat, And then as we were talking, I said, we should get together for a drink sometime. Like, I literally said we should, but it was like a mind, I was like, oh my God, did I just fucking say that? Like, we should get together
Well,
for a drink.
to your defense, a drink could be tea, coffee.
True. Yeah,
You know.
that is true.
Again, why do we associate drink to alcohol?
Yes. That's a whole other show.
So to your defense, so I think that social pressure makes us think that constant desire is normal or expected, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the whole society thing puts that really big pressure on us, and we really got to try to normalize the fact that we don't necessarily need it to feel okay. We need it because it feels great, but we don't need it to feel okay. And there's a big difference between the two of them, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we need it to feel okay. Like, it's a good stress release.
Validation. It comes back to validation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
But
when you start living your life without needing validation, that's what happens. So see the thing, Mario, is that healing changes what you crave.
100%.
No matter what it is in life. We talked about, again, your manic episodes of going out there to buy. Healing changes what you crave. So whether it's sex, whether it's buying a new car, whether it's going on vacation, whatever it is, it changes the way you are and it changes what you crave. So it's normal that sex is going to probably fall in that basket, and it's going to be involved in your change.
Yeah. And when it comes back, you like that? When it comes back, it's even better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's one of those things. You talk about like the changes that I've made in life. I have things sitting in my Amazon inbox, like my cart now that I can't buy. It goes in my cart. Like, sometimes I'll put stuff in my cart and it's cheap. It's like $3 or $5. I need to order that, and then it sits in my cart and I don't even order it because it's like, well, maybe I'll wait to see if I really need it.
Yeah.
Where in the past it was like, I would go to the buy now without even going to the cart. I would see it and buy it. But same to what we're talking about, what you just mentioned. It's like, just because, hey, we went out on a date twice and now it's time for sex. It's not. It's not time if it's not right,
Says who? That's the question I
Yeah.
ask myself now.
But again, we're going back to society, people, your
exactly.
friends. Hey, did you get laid yet, dude?
Yeah.
And in society, we want to say, oh yeah, we banged last night. And it's like it's so fucked
Okay,
up.
so this brings a good point, because have you ever talked to someone, man or woman, where you ask them, "Hey, how's your relationship going?" And they go, "Oh, it's great. The sex is amazing," and then they just randomly shoot that out there
All
and
the
then
time.
They go to something else. And I was thinking about this when I did that post. Because that happens so often, where you're talking to someone and you're like, "Hey, how's the relationship?" And they go, "Oh yeah, it's great. The sex is amazing," and then they move on to something else. And I'm just like, did you just answer my question by literally referring it to the sex only? Because
Are
if
you
think-
serious though? People say that to you?
Dead serious.
They say the sex is good, right? How is the relationship?
1,000%.
Wow.
I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying there's some people that I've talked to that when I ask them, like, "Oh, how's your relationship going?" They're like, "Oh, it's it's exactly what I just said. It's great. The sex is awesome." And then they kind of move on to something else.
Wow.
And it got me thinking to like, okay, so what you're telling me without telling me is if you take the sex away,
The relationship is done.
the relationship is basically shit.
Non-existent. Yep.
Right? Because
Yep.
that's it. One human being that needs to justify that the relationship is okay because one thing is going good in it. That's what it tells me, right? So obviously, I let it go. I don't dive into this and say, "Oh, really? Like, do you think
Tell
it's
me
just
more.
yeah, like.
What is she really into?
But it got me thinking, and I was like, "Holy crap!" There's actually people that's what they need for the relationship to be okay. If they're not getting their sex 3, 4, 5 times a week, the relationship is not good.
Yeah.
And I've heard about people break up with people because of that, because they
Yeah,
weren't
so
getting
have I.
enough sex.
Yeah.
And enough sex is different for everybody. What could be okay for you, which is maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Don't forget, life hits you, kids, blah, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, blah. It goes down. But I've legitimately heard people break up with their partner because it was no longer to their, they love the person. They love the person. Everything was great, but there wasn't enough sex, so they left. And I think that's where that video really got me going, and why I want to talk about it, because it's not the only thing that's important in a relationship. There are so many things that are important in a relationship, and that's just the cherry on the sundae. So once you get into a new relationship and you don't need that, it's not what drives your relationship, that's where it comes back to. So I just want people to understand that after posting that video, after having these conversations, this is a part of healing and self-connection, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're going to be in that phase forever. As a matter of fact, I think that the moment you get back into a relationship and things are going great, those cravings, that need for it probably comes back, because now you're doing it with someone that you absolutely love and want to spend the rest of your life with.
I think getting, especially if you're leaving, if you're going into a new relationship and you're middle-aged and you're looking for a new relationship, or you've been through a divorce. I saw that Instagram post you shared yesterday. Did you know that follower, by the way? That one, the gal that tag got it on it.
Oh yeah, she's great. She sent me so many messages about her. She loves our podcast. She
But
loves it.
you hear, and it was nice. It was nice to hear that from someone that I don't have no clue on. But it's like, a lot of our listeners are divorced, they have kids and that kind of stuff, and maybe they're looking into getting into new relationships.
Yeah.
And I guess what you should take from this show today is, like, don't use sex as something that's very taboo, that you don't want to talk about, that you don't want to, build the boundaries together with your partner. Build those things together when it comes to sex. But sex is the extra. If you just see sex as the extra, and what Pat is saying is not creaming it is a normal thing. It's okay to like it.
Yeah.
But if you're going into it by just saying, "Oh, I'm in a relationship," and when you're in a relationship, you have sex. If you're going, yes, it's part of it, but it doesn't have to be said out loud initially. Learn to communicate, how to be intimate, how to be with that person, how to become that person's partner. Then sex is that much better, because you're in a different place mentally. You know, I think that's what you should really take from this. We joke around and we throw a lot of puns out there, but at the end of the day, the most intimate thing that I can do with my partner, the most intimate thing is that connection.
Correct.
I've had conversations that have been so deep, nothing to do with sex, but just deep emotionally, that gives me that same love and feeling as you would after sex when you're just laying there. You know what I mean? Because it's like that feeling. It's like, oh my God, I am so in tune to that person. I think there's so much more to that, personally.
And that's why I think the 3-month rule that we've talked about in another episode, you know, just makes total sense here.
Yeah.
You know, because
I mean, that's hard. Another pun, sorry.
Yeah.
We should have a sound every time I say a pun.
Yeah. it is, but again, it works on the important, long-lasting stuff. Like, think about it 1 second. I want you to think about maybe a date that you've been on in the past. The stress that comes with that, you know, having sex. You know, you're in a relationship, it's fresh, it's new, and you're just stressing out on like, okay, like how are we gonna make this happen? Like where's the bed? Like, you know, you're just thinking of all these things of how you're gonna make it happen instead of just letting it happen naturally.
I have a question for you, Pat.
Sure.
You meet a girl at a bar.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're with a group of people. She's there. She's with the group. You guys have some drinks. You're playing some pool.
Yeah.
You know, things are going well. She says, you know, hey, my friend that I was here with, she drove. Can I get a ride home? And you give her a ride home. You're not drunk. You're not driving drunk. But, you know, you've had a couple drinks there, but now you're perfectly fine. You drive her home. And she wants to have sex that night. She's like, all over you. She wants to have sex. Okay?
Okay.
Think of, not Patrick 10 years ago, Patrick now. You know, you walk in the house, she comes out just like the movies she's like, I'm just going to go change. And she comes out and she's stark naked and she wants you. Okay?
Yeah.
I want to perceive what I know Pat would do. There's two sides of it right now that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And even if you have sex with that person, and then you can answer, even if you had sex with that, she comes out, she's naked, you're like, it's go time. You're going to have sex with her. Is that a relationship that you want with that person?
No.
I knew that. I knew you were going to say that. And why? Let's follow up. Why don't you want to have a relationship with that person?
It's literally just sex. You know, you asked before, which do you think a man or a woman can differentiate to more? I think it's both. There's sex and then there's intimacy relationships, right? If that's the scenario, I'm sorry, but that's really, I'm gonna be honest, that's not the type of woman that I want in my life.
Right.
Okay. If you're just ready to just give it up like that so easily, you're tipsy, you're drunk, whatever the case. If you're just willing to give that up so easily, it's not the relationship that I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
And depending on my mood, I might take advantage of the situation. You know, I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. It could happen, but it is probably not the type of relationship that I want. It's probably not the type of person that I want to bring home to meet my parents. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what I was getting to with that. It's like, that's not if that's the person, and I'm just using a female here, people, it could reverse the roles. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's if that's what that person would do on the first time they met someone in their entire lives, that's a slippery slope. Like, what if the relationship starts getting,
no pun intended.
Jesus, but you know, that's I can't even know what the fuck to say now without saying something that's not a pun. But you know what I mean? Like, that's an area where in a relationship, if that's how they start the relationship, and your relationship's not going well, what's to say that person doesn't go to a bar one night when they're having a fight with someone, and that's the thing that sparks up again? That would be one of the worries for me.
Correct. And also, if there's someone on my mind, like I'm thinking about someone, I'm just like in the early stages of a possible relationship. You know, like I started dating someone and that situation happens, it is a categoric no.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Categoric no.
Yeah.
Like if I'm thinking about someone, you know, like I'm just started dating someone and I really enjoy this person and I think this could be a possible relationship. That woman that just wants to do nitty gritty.
There could be,
Sorry, You know, sorry, not gonna happen. And that's actually happened in the past. It's actually not happened in the past. Remember the girl that we've talked about many times?
Yeah.
Her sister called me once because she was too tipsy to drive, and that's kind of what she wanted. Imagine, and I shut her down like a champ, bro.
You
like
did?
a champ. Oh yeah, like a champ.
Sorry.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
What? Tell that story again. So she called me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
no, and if they're listening, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. No, but I totally. And that's like, I knew you were going to say that, but Pat 20 years ago might have been different, you know, 20 years ago.
Not so different about sex 20 years ago.
That woman coming out after being tipsy, naked.
Yeah, that hasn't changed that much. I'm gonna be honest.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed 20 years, mentally, emotionally, physically. But that side of things, I've always kind of been that way. It's very, very important to me, you know.
That's amazing.
I see it like Avatar. You know, have you seen the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
You know the way they do it, they connect their
Stuck
nervous
the tail
systems.
to tail together. Oh no, sorry.
Well, that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's actually their hair, I think. It's their ponytail.
Their ponytail to their
ponytail.
What?
It's
No.
ponytail to ponytail, yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm thinking
pretty
about
sure.
the animal. Remember the animal where they got on top and it was like his tail connected with.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I
But
was
now we're talking about the humans. So
Yes, I got you.
But like that movie, when you look at it and watch it at a very, very deeper level, really what they're saying is you're connecting the freaking souls together, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really what that message means. And that's kind of the way I see it. I think it's super important that now I see it that way. When you do that, it's you know, and I want us to normalize that. It's, I think especially teenagers today, like it's wild, man. They start so early, dude.
Right.
It's like they're 12 years old and they're doing it in the back of a bus. You know,
Yeah.
like it's insane what I've heard, man. It's actually disturbing, as a matter of fact. And I feel like society, that's where it's going to, where like body count is super important now. Like the more you have, the cooler you are.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
It's fucked
Dead
up.
serious. So I mean, you know, if your kids are going through that, I feel bad because like it's it's a scary thing, man. If that's what it takes to make you feel cool, you need to work here.
Yeah, get a
You
new
need
hobby.
to work here. Yeah.
Get a new hobby. Yeah, I just there's so much more I'd love to talk about this
Right.
topic, and I really, like I said, this is more of like the intro too. When we get
Absolutely.
into studio, I think when we do this another sex thing in studio,
We'll do it naked.
We want to do it naked, obviously,
Right.
obviously, and turn the fucking heat up in the studio, like hot, like
Yeah,
hot,
we want to be
sweaty,
shining.
hot and sweaty, sex. Oh my god, that studio session.
Gotta love it, baby.
But we need to have. I want to have a woman,
Of course you do.
several women. We should have a gaggle of women in studio with us during
That's
that
great.
show.
I don't
you
think it's a
know?
good idea.
No, but I know. I think it would be really cool to go back and forth. Maybe we should play. Remember the dating game? Where's the weirdest place you played Whoopi? And then they have to show the sign. We should do our own guided podcast version of that, where we have women or couples. Maybe we have couples. Maybe we have some people in the studio, and then have them ask questions. We can talk about shit like that.
So if you want to expose yourself,
There's
let
so
us
many
know.
areas my brain just went to on different sex shows we can do. But we've had, people have asked us to do a sex show, and I think we need to talk about this more. But I think it would be really cool to have the female perspective, don't you, on this?
Of course. Yeah,
No.
100%. And again, like I said, we started the episode like this. We don't talk about it enough because it's so taboo. Kind of like finances, right?
Yeah.
Conversations we don't have. So I think it's great. We might be judged with this episode. We might not be. Again, guys, this is open
don't care.
conversation. I don't care either, but I'm just saying this is open conversation. And, it's to get you guys thinking, and it's to get you guys, realizing what's in it for you. Like, what's life compared to what we're saying here with you. And, for everyone who just stopped the episode early on, well, I'm sorry you didn't get to the end.
You missed it.
You missed
Get to
it.
the end. Another pun. I'm sorry you didn't get to the end. Another
Yeah,
pun.
You didn't finish.
Another pun. Ding.
So yeah,
We should have had a scoreboard on all the puns we had this morning.
you could do that. You could do that. You could do it in the editing. It's going to be long, but you could do it.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Good.
But what was I going to say? You just said something. And then my train of thought went somewhere else. You said shit.
I didn't say shit.
I didn't say shit. No, but I'd like to have this conversation again with the female's perspective. And someone's at your door, by the way.
It's that lady that wants to have sex.
It is that lady.
What is the
Is she
chances,
naked?
bro?
Hold on, people. She may be naked. But we better wrap this show because Pat's hooker just got there.
What is the chances of that, man?
What?
Holy God.
Did someone really ring your doorbell? Or is
Yes,
that
someone just really...
someone's at the door?
Not now. They just probably dropped the package. It's probably just a package.
What we didn't know, what Pat didn't know is,
Oh, you
surprise,
sent
Pat,
someone.
we ordered a prostitute for you at the beginning of the show to show up right
Amazing.
now.
Great timing.
So
Great
we better
timing.
end this show because Pat's got some time to take care of some business, if you know what I
Bro,
mean.
what are the chances?
That's
What the
amazing.
hell?
I love that. And that's not getting edited. That's staying right in there.
Yeah, that's staying right in there for sure.
Okay, well, that's our show, everybody. I want to thank everyone. In the comments this week, I would like to know, something I asked Pat earlier is how often women think of sex.
Yeah.
And I think Pat says it's equal, but I would like to know if women think of sex the same amount and how well you communicate with your partner on your needs and boundaries. I just like give us something to work with, so when we do this show again, it'd be really fun to see the comments on some of the women's perspectives on sex.
And if you have anything you'd like us to talk about on the next sex episode, tell us in the comments as well.
Yeah, if you want us to get dirtier, let us know.
Yes,
You
because we don't know what the line is.
Yeah, I mean, I know what my line is, and it's pretty bad. So I would love to go there. So if you guys want to hear dirtier, type in the word dirty, and we can go there as much as you want. So, Pat, when are you going back to your home studio, the Clico Studio A?
Today, because
Are you leaving today?
Technically, it's Friday today.
Did you finish painting?
So yes, I did.
Oh, good
All
for
done.
you.
All
Proud
done.
of you.
So
I
today-
know you
today-
didn't like that, so I'm glad. I'm glad you accomplished that.
Thank you. But today is technically Friday, so I'm leaving today.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Today is Friday. We're you're heading home today. So that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're heading home. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Home. And God, this got weird. But to everyone listening, share this with your favorite sexual partner. Share this with people. Share this. We love the comments, and I've had some discussions with a possible new sponsor that we're not going to mention, but that we're very excited.
We're not even going to talk about it.
We're not even going to talk about it, really. But it's nice because we're
Not
really
gonna
excited
talk
to get
about
Pat to get Pat in the studio. But anyway, everyone, have a great week. We'll see you next week here every Friday, the Got It Podcast, 6 a.m. on Friday mornings. You never know what the topic's going to be. Pat may bring up a topic, and then ADHD may cock block them. Last one.
Shout out to ADHD.
That was a good one. The last one. So,
No, not bad.
and on that note, Pat, you have a beautiful week, my friend.
Let me go open that door.
You better go. She's going to get mad. I'm paying by the hour here, so get going. Okay, brother. Love you. Have
All
a
right.
good week.
Love you too, man.
See ya.
Take it. Ciao.